All right, welcome back, everybody. Now, we are joined by two of the student leaders in the country's biggest push against tertiary fee increases last year. Let's welcome them into the studio. Mzwanele Ntswanti. Good to have you in studio.
Thank you.
And Nompendulo Mkhatshwa. We know this face. We've spoken to her before, and it's wonderful to have her here in studio.
Thank you very much, Leanne.
And mostly, congratulations.
Thank you.
I mean, this was a big evening for you. You both graduated last night.
Yes,
Well, I graduated in the second ceremony, which is at 1:30.
Yeah.
And Mzwa graduated in the third ceremony of the day, which is at 4:30.
Okay, so you got your BSc.
Bachelor of Science in Geography.
In Geography.
Yeah.
And you got your?
I got my BSc as well in Mathematics of Finance.
This is fantastic. Where to from here? I mean, what happens now? Let's start off with you.
I mean, ideally, mine is to be involved in the environmental governance space of South Africa, and I take interest into the African continent as well. On the basis of that, we are a continent extremely rich in mineral and resource. However, we are the most poverty-stricken, which doesn't make sense at all. And we need to find a way to move away from neo-colonialist environmental policies that only allow the West and imperialist countries to flourish on our resources when we're not. So I just think that when we look at our environmental policies, I'm not in isolation to our economic policies. We need to find a way for everything to correlate. Those who are doing the science need to be able to match what the politicians are agreeing to.
Yeah.
And kind of bridge that gap and close it.
So basically carrying on very much so what you've been doing.
Yeah.
Let's not kid.
Yeah.
And I'm going to get to what you've been doing in a short while, but I want to ask you, where are you headed now? What is your next step?
Yes, so basically, for instance, this year I'm enrolled for my honors in economic science. So basically, I want to go in academia and be involved in research, and probably also look at macro and microeconomic policies for the country in terms of economic growth, which is what interests me the most. So basically, looking at how South Africa, for instance, involves itself in the macroeconomic policies, which obviously get affected by the world's economic fluctuations as well. But to sort of protect our economy and see how it grows steadily in the long run, and hopefully it can benefit all of us. And we know how our economy is structured we have the most unequal economy in the world, and I think I need to devote myself in making sure that all South Africans benefit from the resources that they have.
You guys have, it's been a big lesson for you, clearly. I mean, you're coming out with your eyes wide open into this world with a lot of students come out of universities and they're not sure what they want to do. It's like, yeah, okay, I've got my degree, maybe I'm going to take a year off and go. But you guys you're coming in here with an ambition to make a difference and to make a change. But what I need to ask you is, where did you find time to study? Through everything that happened at the end of last year, I mean, sit-ins, marches, you were so busy negotiating, doing all of this stuff, and yet you still managed to graduate. Talk to me about your schedule.
I think the two things that I want to say is that, one, you are at an institution where you're enrolled as a full-time student, but you feel like a part-time student. You self-learn, you self-study. You have to be best friends with your lecturers, not because you want to get favors from them, but because you spend more time with them. You need to spend time outside of the classroom with your lecturers to get certain information from them and to consult with them and so forth. And you just miss out on. You do miss out on some part of being a normal student.
Yeah, of course.
Your classmates, you know them, but you don't know them so well. For us in the sciences, it's more difficult because you don't have a lot of comrades or student leaders who are, in our faculty much. Whereas if you're in CLM, Commerce Law and management,
you most likely,
and humanities, you're most likely to have your classmates be your comrades as well. Two, what drives us, I think, regardless of how intense our schedules were, particularly at the end of last year and so forth, was that, and bearing in mind that most leaders across the country wrote their exams in January because we had to try stabilize situations on our campuses.
Both of you wrote in
December.
January.
I wrote all of them in December.
In December.
Yes, I just think it was very hectic at the time, but with all that she said now, also it comes with discipline. So when you are a leader, you need to be disciplined as well. So I keep telling people that you also understand your role in society, that you're not just a student, you're also a leader, but you must also lead by example in both spheres of your life.
Yeah.
So you need maximum discipline. You need to go to class. If you go to class, you know that you're not a normal student. And because when you get there, even if others are not paying attention, for that spare of moment that you got, you need to pay attention, because they're probably not going to be in class for the next 3 weeks. So you're having that hectic life, and also to have those supportive friends and those supportive comrades, so that if you don't go to class, they can probably disseminate information to you.
And break the stereotype, sorry, Leanne.
Exactly.
And break the stereotype of,
Indeed.
you know, we have a hashtag that says hashtag comrades do graduate.
Yes.
I recently, you know, got one that says Mbogoto learn, and the revolution will be educated, because there's no ways that we can lead revolutions of this magnitude without some sort of ideological standing, which would need us to then study and understand the different fields of society in order for them to in order for us to transform them.
Yeah.
Because we must understand them. So you need to be knowledgeable, and also just to break the stereotype that
Indeed.
student leaders don't graduate. That's really also a part that pushes you.
Yeah.
You just don't want to be that person who's on campus for more than you were supposed to be on campus.
You
for,
can't
you
be.
know?
You need to move on. But they're shouting at me to wrap. But there's two things I need to ask you. Sorry, everyone. But these are important questions. Are you happy with the way you're leaving Wits? Do you feel like you've got unfinished business there? Firstly. Secondly, and very quickly I'm asking this, your face has become synonymous with a revolution almost. I mean, it has. I mean, your face was the pin-up girl of this revolution of the fees must fall. Have you been approached to join politics? Have you been approached by anybody for your future? And what does your future hold? I know you've spoken about degrees and everything, but just talk to me more about that.
I think Mzwanele can take the first one, and then I'll take the second one.
Are you happy with the way you're leaving Wits?
I think we're happy the way we're living Wits, because we've set a ground, and then we've told people what they need to achieve, and I mean, we've done what you would call your part.
You've set the groundwork for others to follow in your footsteps.
And I think what mostly, for instance, we have at the moment is to make sure that we leave the right people to continue.
Indeed. Yeah. Your answer.
Also, I don't feel like we're leaving Wits anytime soon, because we're still doing our honours.
Oh, well, so you're still there.
Yeah,
okay,
we're
good.
still there until like,
leadership,
probably like next year sometime.
Yeah.
But I think, for us, this thing is not new. It's not new. There were generations that came before us that were fighting the same sort of inequalities and disparities within the education sector on its own. And we were groomed by those generations. We were taught about free education by the generations that came before us. We were taught about academic exclusions and financial exclusions, and how those that have should be able to have, and those that that those that have should be able to assist those that don't have, and that we need to have a particular bias towards those that are marginalized in the system, right?
Yeah.
So but my point is that when we come into the space, all of us, and yes, some of us, will be by default will be at the forefront and by the face, because I mean you're the president of the SRC.
Indeed. So
it could have been Leanne, it could have been Mzwanele, it could have been whoever else. They were the president and they had that particular responsibility at that particular time.
That's true.
Right? And that's really what it is. Your position makes you have to take a particular role. And so it's not. I am a comrade. I am a student politician. It's nothing new. Leanne.
You're made for this.
We were made for this. We're not catching on to a trend.
I have to leave it there, and I'm sure viewers want to hear more, but we've got to leave it there.
Thank you very much.
Nompendulo, congratulations. Congratulations to you as well. Mzwanele, we're so proud of your achievements. Well done. We've got to take a break. Joyous celebration after this are going to be playing us out. Thanks, everyone.